JP Morgan just triggered the biggest wealth shift in American history. How does crypto and XRP play a part? We're going to get into that. I also have a ton of other Ripple and XRP news, but let's start right here.
Spend an hour on Netflix, but you won't spend an hour learning how the entire financial system is being flipped right on its head right now before our eyes by the banking elite. JP Morgan just launched his own stablecoin on a public blockchain. Do you guys understand that they're probably one of the main reasons why the Federal Reserve itself was created? The Federal Reserve literally controls the printing of all of money, like everything. Like they basically have the control mechanism to modern slavery through finance. And JP Morgan just launched their own stablecoin and put it on a public blockchain. Are you kidding me? The smart people are sitting there like, I'm going to make money off of this. And there's really people that are watching it from a distance because they don't want to, bro, you don't want to put 15 minutes in comprehending. It's not that hard, bro. It's really not that hard. You want to take a half an hour, maybe an hour a day to dedicate yourself to understanding the upgrade to our new financial system, maybe because it kind of applies to your entire existence. You're going to have to learn it anyways, just like you had to learn the internet. You might as well make money in the process. And you have ChatGPT. You could literally go to the government websites, look at these long, complex, crazy legal documents, download the PDF, put it into the AI, sit there and comprehend it. Not only that, you could actually go to these crypto projects, take their white paper, download the PDF, sit there and comprehend it. I don't understand why people are so stagnant in their growth. Like, do you understand that the reason why the bank themselves have all of this control is because they keep upgrading the financial system and stacking the odds in their favor? You can stack the odds in your favor and participate in this new wealth transfer that's happening right in front of our face. It's not like they can close it out completely. You can see their moves and you can invest with them. This mindset of doing nothing and at all and thinking that something is just going to fall from the sky or thin air and their life is going to somehow change for the better. Bro, it is demonic. No. You need to do something. You need to do something. You need to make something happen. You need to move in faith.
Every day you make a decision to get up and watch this content, watch other creators' content about this digital transformation we are witnessing. And I have to give you all the credit because there are a lot of people out there, 95% of the world, maybe even higher than that, are choosing to do nothing on this greatest wealth transfer in history. That means you are a little different than the people around you. Remember, if you go out in the world and you find someone that holds XRP and XLM, they're probably a lot like you. So start talking with them. Those are the people you want to surround yourself by, because those are the people that are going to help you reach those goals and levels where you don't have to worry about any of this anymore. Let's get it. All right. I thought this was great. Paul Barazal, Ricky Bobby, Shake and Bake. Great movie. And so here, the checkered flag will fall when the market structure bill gets passed. Let's get it.
What people don't get, and it's hard for us to get because we've been grinding for 8 years, more than 8 years, quite frankly.
Yeah.
8 years as a public company, is that in lots of ways, the checkered flag hasn't even fallen yet. The checkered flag will fall when this market structure bill gets passed. When I mean the checkered flag, it's when all the institutions say, hey, it's safe to swim in the pool.
Yeah.
When Google and Apple are having big meetings about, well, what should we do with crypto?
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can't use stablecoins on your iPhone.
Yeah.
Use Apple Pay.
Yeah.
At one point, stablecoins are going to be there, by definition. And so the world is going to move into this architecture sometime in the next, like I keep saying, 18 to 36 months. I can't predict the exact time.
Yeah.
But the herd is finally coming. And I was 10 years early on that goddamn expression.
The herd.
When it finally shows up, I'm going to tattoo it very small because it was the right idea.
Yeah.
And man, it took longer than I thought. And part of that was freaking Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren and the slowdown. And part of it was it took a while for these blockchains to actually be built robustly enough to process, and there's still debate on, will these blockchains be fast enough? Are we going to have level twos? Are level twos really even blockchains, right? Is base a database or is it a blockchain?
Yeah.
It's a fair debate. And I'm sure Brian would argue really loudly that it's a blockchain.
Yeah.
That's a pretty one-sided conversation. That whole time the guy's all, yep, okay, yep. I think the part here is you have people that are solely in this business 24/7 as a financial institution, and they don't know if it's going to be 6 months, 18 months, 36 months. I do think once that market structure bill gets signed, then the SEC and CFTC have a big job to do. They have to go out and set up all the rulemaking. That could take a few years, but it will tell financial institutions that the crypto market is safe. It will say, here are the rules. You go play by them, and you wait to see how much liquidity starts to come into the crypto space once financial institutions know that the party has started and it is safe to mingle. All right, here is Stephen McClurg and Nate Garossi, talking about the ETF day that they had. The ETF day Stephen McClurg and Canary Capital had yesterday. Let's play it.
And with all three of these spot ETFs that you've brought to market, all offer in-kind creations and redemptions, correct?
They do.
And talk more about that and just the structure of these products overall, just at a high level.
Yeah, so it's great that we can process in-kind now. When Bitcoin Spot first launched, the SEC stopped in-kind from happening. And in-kind creates and redeems is really where the tax benefits come in. So the reason why it's really important in crypto is that there's a lot of people that actually hold tokens on their ledger or some other place that they necessarily don't want all of their tokens there, right? So think about Mt. Gox when it went down, or think about ledgers that have broken in the past. People want to probably diversify their holdings, and hold it in an ETF is probably one of the safest ways to do that.
I don't know if I agree on that, my man. Holding your crypto on an exchange, I can see this argument being made that maybe the ETF is safer, but it's still an institution holding your assets. And if something happens to that institution, right? Holding your assets in a ledger, a decent wallet, whatever, that's probably the safest thing that you can do with your crypto, other than paying for professional custodian, of the Coinbases of the world and your Anchorages of the world. All right. I needed to correct that. All right.
As opposed to exchanges or ledgers. And what we've seen as far as inflows coming in, about 85% of our inflows in HBAR has actually been in kind. And we're also seeing a large amount of orders this morning for in-kind and XRP as well. One of the things that when in-kind orders come in, you don't see it in trade volume. So trade volume is a little bit tricky. It doesn't necessarily translate one-to-one on AUM or inflows. It's just what's being transacted throughout the day. But when you have people moving their coins from a wallet or a ledger into an ETF, that trade volume doesn't occur because it is in kind.
All right, guys, just wanted to play that and give you some additional context there. Here is an updated timeline because I know everyone's waiting for these ETFs to launch. And so Franklin Templeton, it looks like it's the 18th. This will be on Monday, launching on SIBO. 19th and 20th will be Bitwise with the lowest fee of 0.34. 20th through the 22nd is 21 shares. Grayscale is the 25th, and Wisdom Tree is the 25th. All happening before the end of the month. I don't know what else you need, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking about this for months, maybe even for years at this point, and we are finally at the point where these products are being offered, and this is the first step, right? You get the institutional adoption, you get the regulation, and I don't know what else would be holding the market back at that point, guys, right?
Canary Capital's XRPC, the first U.S. spot ETF tied to the XRP token, had an impressive debut yesterday with $58 million in trading volume, the highest for any ETF launched this year across more than 900 fund launches. That's according to Bloomberg's ETF analyst Eric Balchunas. Volume narrowly edged out Bitwise's Solana ETF, which logged $57 million on its first day. The strong start indicates growing institutional interest in diversifying beyond Bitcoin and Ether.
And remember, this is a good and bad thing for holders, right? It's a good thing that institutional money is coming in, but it's also a bad thing that more XRP is being swallowed up by institutional investors rather than retail investors. Institutions have a total different mindset on where they want to take profit and sell and what they're going to do with their XRP. Retail, we want to hold, right? We want to hodl those tokens until it reaches a point that we feel that we can do whatever we want in our lives. I just start to worry about more and more XRP being sucked out and retail not having the course here. And it is a big deal. Franklin Templeton, $1.6 trillion is next. Ripple has a really cool new ad here. I wanted to play it, just talk with you about it. So let's do that.
Ripple has been leading from the front for over a decade. Despite regulatory headwinds, we never stopped building. And today, the world isn't just embracing the potential of crypto, but showing up in full force. So if you're here, You're already helping set the stage for the rest to follow. That's what Swell is all about.
Blockchain technology can really streamline post-trade processes across the world, which then frees up capital.
The ultimate vision of every investor in the world is holding whatever assets they want exposure to in their wallet. It's a very exciting vision that is very democratizing.
We need to have our eyes on the prize, which is 24/7 instant settlement. That's where we're going to solve all the frictions that exist in traditional finance.
We can take some of that friction out, bring new products to market. That's really positive for the actual economy and drives growth.
We see stablecoin like in RLUSD as a way to enable payments, and that interconnectivity between the treasury market and the stablecoin market is pretty remarkable.
This is clearly the path of the future. Crypto will be at the core of all financial services.
Crypto
has been ready for this moment. I'm thrilled you are on this journey with us.
Be at the core of all financial services.
Crypto will be at the core of all financial services. That is a bold statement. And you also have Stephen McClurg being interviewed by Tony Edward here. This is talking about ETFs, tokenized ETFs, and the future. Obviously, this is not specifically about XRP, but it is a part of where I see this going with crypto and the tokenization of assets. Let me just play it for you, and we'll close here after.
I can't remember who mentioned it, if it was Larry Fink or someone else, but the folks are looking to tokenize ETFs. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, it's interesting because here in the US, I think ETFs trade at decent hours. Where I think tokenization might work, though, for ETFs is globally. So, for instance, Archex out of the UK has tokenized a few crypto ETFs, including HBAR. And what that does, it allows people in Europe to trade these without having to go through their local exchanges. So that's actually really important from a global standpoint. I don't know if it's that, in the US, we tend to think in US terms. It's like, okay, well, how's that useful? Well, for other people, it's very useful that can't, that don't want to be at the up and, New York hours trading.
I can't remember who mentioned it, if it was Larry Fink or someone else, but the folks...
It was Larry Fink who mentioned that, and a lot of others. But listen, crypto innovation is happening very quickly and behind the scenes. I know it doesn't feel like it when you're sitting there day by day, hour by hour, and looking at the price. That is why I often don't look at the XRP price unless that I'm doing research and it comes up on a CoinMarketCap or I'm forced to. I understand that this is going to take a bit here, and I'm willing to sit back, keep acquiring, and get ready for my future. Whatever that looks like, I know it's going to be involving XRP. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed the content. Have a great weekend. I'm Crypto Sensei. Aloha.